Hello, everybody. It's episode 17th of Grizzlies Worldwide Podcast. And on this episode, we go back to hometown Memphis, Tennessee, and we speak with Naquirah. And first of all, I want to thank Naquirah very much for being here with us and ask Naquirah, of course, Naquirah, how are you doing this evening in Memphis?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, it's an honor to have you here. I'm very thankful for you to joining. So let's go to the Grizzlies.
Hmm.
As a Grizzlies fan, how did you see next season or the last season? I'm sorry, and especially um, how was it for you as a fan to see like this last season? When we came up, okay, we knew that we had the 25 game suspension of on Ja,
Mm.
and just starting the season, we know that Steven Adams was going to be out for the rest of the season. But then the season became like really uh, like a struggle. Okay, how did you live this season?
Last season was really just a big roller coaster to me, a roller coaster of emotions for me actually, because the first 25 games was disappointing to
Hmm.
say the least. Real disappointing because I thought we could hold up above water before Ja came back and have like a okay to decent record, but it was bad. And then them 9 games that Ja came back was just so exciting. I thought we was on the road, we was finna get going. Then he got injured. And yeah, after them little 9 games, I knew it was the end of the season because ain't no way. Because you seen the first 25 games and you saw what we did. And after Ja left out, it was just really over from there. But
You,
I really liked that we signed Gigi and Vince. I feel
hmm.
like 2 ways. And like the little end of the season with Pippen and stuff like that, that was fun. I went to a couple games there too.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, we already knew it was the end once Ja got injured. So just enjoy the ride for what it is.
yeah. Did you expect the record when the Jay come when Jack came back? Because I think that at that time we were like 6 wins only. Did you expect that?
Yeah.
Did you expect it like to be better? Because you
When
said that.
Ja came back, them 9 games,
Yeah.
um, it was actually cool. 6-3 was straight for what we was doing. It was better than what we had before, so I really wasn't tripping.
No, I said before, like
Before
before. Yeah.
did yes, it surprised me because I thought we could. I thought we could like hold ourselves up before he came back, but that wasn't really the case.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did it strike to you when you know that Ja was off for the season? Because
You said,
I'm
you
gonna
said
to
how
be
did I?
honest, like for me it was like a train wreck, like yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you said how did I feel once Jar was went out?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I just felt mad because we really thought that everything was gonna go good after Jar came back. Cause the first game that he did come back against the New Orleans Pelicans was a
Hmm.
crazy game, and I loved
Hmm.
it so bad. But yeah, I really just was upset about it because we finally got him back after some 25 games. We've been waiting for the longest for him to get back, and once he came back, we thought everything was gonna be good, but he got injured. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Still about the last season, and also regarding Ja, especially specifically regarding Ja. Um, Ja has been kind of quiet in the social media. Yes, posting
Hmm.
things. But do you? This is a question that I usually ask. You think like this more quiet Ja is a good Ja?
Of course. I mean, I used to like when Ja used to be on social media, of course, but
Mhm.
now that he's like gone quiet, repost here, post a little bit there, no lives. I feel like that's good for him.
Do you seems like he's more like focused?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Also, you mentioned you mentioned in your previous answer there was like obvious silver linings to the last season, uh, and of course Vince Williams, Gigi. You also mentioned Scottie Pippen, and we're gonna talk about Scottie Pippen a bit later on. How did you were you expecting this from, especially like now I'm asking for Vince and G. Were you expecting this kind of performance from both of them?
From Vince, probably not, because I wasn't too familiar with his game.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew he used to play at VCU, but I really wasn't too familiar. I didn't really watch up on him before like he came to the Grizzlies. But with Gigi, I heard a lot of people talking about him and stuff like that once we got him. And I went to look him up and stuff like that, and he can play. He's just really, really young. And I feel like he can he can he can add on to what we got. So I really expect good from both of them, but I didn't expect too much from Vince out the
Yeah.
get go, out the gate.
Sorry, sorry.
I said I didn't expect too much from Vince out the gate.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm going to be honest, like, because I used to see Vince play some like the garbage times,
Mhm.
garbage minutes, and he always seemed like for me, and um, I kind really locked in,
Mhm.
and it is. But then I was, of course, I was wrong because he's like really the opposite of it. He's really like really locked in. So also, okay, you mentioned Pippen. We're gonna talk about Pippen a bit after. So
Mhm.
the season went on. Of course, I guess you and me and uh, I guess likely all Grizzlies fan, especially when Jack got injured, and we knew that the season, like regarding playoff or something, was over. Um, but still, there was some good things, in my opinion, to take out of this last season. Then, okay, and one thing that was always coming up this last season, because uh, Steven Adams was ruled out just like 2 days before the season started. And of course, we know that PC was only coming back like in February or something. Was the five position? That's one question I want to ask you. And
Mhm.
of course, maybe this doesn't apply right now because we got ED and we have BC back, and also we signed J Huff on a two-way. I'm going also to talk about you with you about that. How do you feel about Jaren playing the five?
I really did not like him playing the five. He doesn't rebound well enough for him to even play the five. So
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't like that. Like he always played better with a good center. His rookie year he played with Marcus All. After that he played with Valanciunas, and then he played with Steven Adams. So yeah, he might play center at certain points, but him playing
Like
the
you mean like for stretches of games?
yeah, like he may play centers for like a couple minutes in the game,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not built just to be a full on center. Like his game isn't that, so he always needs a big body beside him. So him playing center this season was just, no, getting like 6 or 7 rebounds. I go cut it for a top end center.
Yeah, but my question like really is, do you think that this means like maybe Jaren is not a five, he's like a four, a power forward, and really
Yeah,
not a five?
he's a power forward. His game has always been power forward. He's not a five.
Okay, okay, we settle on that. So moving on. the season ended, of course, for us, and then the draft came up. Regarding the draft, I know that I saw on Grizz Twitter that there was this Klingon
Hmm.
thing. Also, several names. Edie was also one of these names. Were you on any of these trains?
I always really thought it was Klingon or Edie. Like
Mm-hmm.
either one would have been cool with me, but I'm glad we got Edie because he a dominator. He a dominator team, so I'm glad we got Edie.
Okay. Um, but were you surprised that we drafted Edie with the ninth pick?
Not really. I knew they was gonna go with a center, so it was either Klingon or Edie, and I knew I saw something about them moving up to six, but
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte decided to stay at six. But I knew they was gonna draft the center at nine, so it really wasn't that surprising.
Okay. And also, there still is some questions about how Edie's game in college in Purdue
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
translate to the NBA regarding um, footwork, speed, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, how do you see this? How do you see do you think there is maybe difficulties um, adapting to the NBA? Not so much, because also the Grizzlies haven't been very effective in developing players.
Mhm.
So, how do you see ED's game adapting to the Grizzlies game, and then for of course adapting to the NBA game?
From that one summer league game that I saw before he like tweaked his ankle, I feel like he'll fit in great. All you really gotta do is set screens and rebound and play defense with Jaren. You know, Jaren gonna really clean up really all the misses that he even misses. So with foot speed, you could really work on it, but I don't feel like that's the biggest issue or a big issue.
Hmm. Um, okay, so also um, on the draft, we also got Jalen Wells and Cam Spencer. Did you know anything about any of these players? Didn't you? And what are your inputs on both of them? Now that I know that you see them because you told me that you watch the summer league.
I knew about Cam Spencer because he was on UConn, the championship winning team.
Uh-huh.
Dead eye 3-point shooter. That's really what I gotta say. A real good 3-point shooter. He just knows what to do and where to be at. So yeah, I really like him a lot. And I didn't really hear Jalen Wills for real, but after the draft, I look up the players and stuff like that just to see like what type of player they are. But he's a real good 3-point shooter too. It seemed like the Grizzlies wanted to go out and get players that they knew could do what they need to do. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. It seems like for me, like it seems like the Grizzlies are being more effective, sort of saying in like second round picks. A case
Hmm.
of GG and Vince, of course, the obvious. Okay, now we're talking about Spencer and Wells. We don't know how it's going to turn out. But like in an overall um, overview, and how do you see Zach Lyman's works on draft issues?
You said, how do I see Kleiman's
Mm,
what
yeah, on draft issues.
on draft issues?
Yeah, and overall, like and overall.
Overall, I feel like he's okay. Like he is drafted okay. It's been a couple misses. It's been some misses, of course, but in my opinion, he's doing the best that he can.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting the players that we need. He knew we needed a center, and he got a center. And with he also drafted BC and all these other
and
players that we have. So
John
yeah,
Jerry and that's yes. Yeah.
yeah, Josh Jared is. So I feel like he's been good so far. It's been a couple misses. Like you can't hit on all of them. It's not. That's not gonna be the thing. But I feel like he's done good so far.
Yeah, you talked about misses, and of course, maybe sometimes players they can be like misses because maybe sometimes I don't know, maybe the environment is not right. I don't know.
Mhm.
Um, this season, this last season, uh, we traded David Roddy
Mhm.
on the deadline, the trade deadline, and now more recently we traded also Zaire. How do you feel
Mhm.
about, especially about Zaire leaving? Because there was a lot of expectation about what Zaire could do for this team, and it did work out. So,
Yeah. Um. I really liked Zaire.
hmm
His rookie year was great. After that, he just went on the decline, and I don't know why, but yeah, it's he only plays good with Jadami. He just doesn't have his own type of game that'll predicate to what we needed. So I really, I really was, I really was okay with the trade. Like he just ain't show enough to be staying on our team. So yeah.
hmm you said that you only played well with Ja because I got that sense too.
Yeah, he did only play good with Ja, cause Ja knew how to set him up with lobs and stuff like that, give him
hmm
the right passes and everything. But Ja wasn't on the floor, so what can you do without Ja? And that was little to nothing for real. So
Yeah.
hey,
Okay. Another question just came up to me. Um, maybe when the Grizzlies drafted Zaire, they were thinking of drafting a player like Gigi. Do you think that's this is something that a guest of mine previous said to me? Do you think
hmm,
there's some value in this opinion?
yeah, it's some
Yeah.
value in the opinion. A long wing, long tall, could shoot a little bit, got a good mid range game, can handle the ball a little bit. Like yeah, it's the same vision, just a different person.
Yeah. I agree. So that's why I made you the question. So now on the timeline, moving up to the summer league, you watch all the games?
Yes, all of them.
Okay, so give me your analysis on the games, um, like an overall on the team. I'm going to ask you like for specific players after,
Hmm.
but like an overall for
I feel
the
like they
summer
play.
league.
I feel like they play really, really good. Like from Utah, it was kind of like a little shaky, But when they got to Vegas, I feel like everything was really just clicking with them because they've been working with each other for like a little minute and everything. 3-point shooting was okay, was yeah. But
Hmm
yeah, overall synopsis of it, I feel like everything was good. It was a good showing.
Uh, were you pissed that we lost the finals? Because I was. Like,
You said what?
if you were pissed that we lost the finals, because
Oh
I
yeah.
kind of was. It's summer league, but yeah,
Yeah, that was the
yeah,
most competitive thing I saw from the Grizz all year. So yes, I was kind of mad. Like that was the most competitive thing we seen in a year from the Grizz. So yes, I was upset.
yeah. Okay, for sure. Me too. So now going more into specifics, and you mentioned him. How did you see Pippen Jr.? And he's been
Surprisingly, you said what?
showing something like the previous season also, like the
Hmm.
last previous season. How do you see Pippen Jr. fitting in on this team?
People Jr. could really be a backup point guard. I don't feel like that's like out of the way to say, but he can really be a backup point guard for this team. I really like him and his defense. His defense is extremely good.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows how to set up the players. He knows when to slow down. He knows when to pick up the pace. He knows. He knows. He's a very, very smart player. So I really feel like he can be a backup point guard for this team. Ain't no use in rushing it, but at some point you gotta sign the dude to a contract. That's how I feel.
Okay, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you that also. Okay, now you mentioned that you saw Edie. Okay, Edie only played like a game and 7 minutes of
Yeah.
another game.
Mhm.
How did Edie strike you?
I like Edie. I like Edie a lot. I really like him.
What
It's
were like the upsides of his games for you?
his rebounding. It's just like he is so big. He is so huge. So I feel like this he'll help the team so good with his rebounding. He knows how to set screens really, really well. Cause I saw in one game he set a screen and dude just disappeared. I feel like once he get into it with Ja, ain't nobody stopping him for real. So yeah. I like that he can work around the basket. He can finish around the basket really, really well. And yeah, I don't feel like his footwork and his speed will be an issue.
Hmm.
That's what I really saw from the games. Like, that's what everybody was wanting to see. Like, how is he gonna work with a little NBA team or players that have been working with the NBA? And he worked really well. So
You mentioned you with Ja. How do you envision that? Like the pick and roll and all that stuff?
ain't no stopping it. I don't feel like it's no stopping it. Once Ja got a runway to the rim, it's over with.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Also, it can be like because you mentioned we were talking about Sharon before.
Hmm.
It can be like an anchor center, like for Sharon to be like the rim protector that we known from previous season. That also got him the defensive player of the year. Do you agree with this?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You said another center, maybe from the draft, or just another center in the league. Period.
Sorry.
You said another center in the draft or another center in the league, period.
No, I was asking like because we know what Jack can do with another anchor center.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
yeah. So and Edie, of course, is an anchor center like Adams was, like Valanciunas was, as you mentioned, and
Mm-hmm.
also Marcus All also. So that was the question. Like you think like Edie can be a replacement, and that
Of course he can.
um, maybe how do you say this? Maybe a better replacement for Steven Adams, with all due respect for Steven Adams, of course.
Mm-hmm. Of course. He got a better game around the rim. That's why I feel like he will be better than Steven Adams. So,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, okay. So also Gigi is such a character. Okay, yeah, yeah, he is for sure. Um, did you like see Gigi playing this summer league?
Yes, I love seeing GG play the Summer League. It's really his 3-point shooting. I wish he could, like, come up a little bit on the line because he be shooting, like, from 30 feet out. So I feel like he could be a good corner shooter because you don't have that much space to like move out. So yeah, I really mess with Gigi and his game that he can get to the rim. Yeah, I mess with his game.
Okay. Also, you mentioned Spencer, okay, because you said that he was a very good three-point shooter. Also, Spencer is, I believe, 24 years old. So,
Hmm.
despite the fact he's a rookie NBA in the NBA, is not really that young. Okay, so that can also bring some value to him, like a more experienced player in the sort of speaking way, of course. Also, you mentioned Wells.
Hmm.
Um, Also, regarding the summer league and also regarding the last part of last season, I want to ask you about Jake LaRavia because Jake was he was getting slandered all over. Like,
Mm.
um, how do you see he's playing this last part of the season, last season, and in the summer league? And do you believe in Jake, or you
It's
don't?
kind of 50-50 on my end. I really got to see him play with everybody for
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't know about him. I'm just kind of shaky on him. But yeah, he's a good player. He can shoot. He can't dribble. But yeah, he's a good player. I feel like he'll be a good shooter, like a space out shooter type. But I don't really know about him for real. It's kind of shaky on my end.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. Also, now moving on to the free agency, there were several things going on. Uh,
Mhm.
Better said, there were also several things not going on. Uh, the Grizzlies stayed quite quiet on the free agency. How did you see this? Because this, in my point of view, of course, and I want to know your point of view, not of mine, of course. Um, you can be active if you need to, or you don't have to be active if you don't need to. Do you think that we supposed to be more active and we didn't, or we were just okay the way we were in the free agency, like not making any moves? Because I'm going to ask you this: we only got J Huff on a two-way, and we waived Trey Jemison, and then we re-signed Luke.
Mhm. And free agency, I feel like we could have been a little bit more active. I really wanted like a second big to come off the bench, somebody like Edie type, like a big bruiser type. But I already know that we have BC, so
Mm-hmm,
maybe you just stay put. Maybe that's how they were thinking about it. Just stay put because you have two bigs already, kind of with BC and Edie. Even though we say that Jared is a four, he's still gonna play the five sometimes. So you have him, and then you have J Huff on the two way. So that's probably how they were thinking about not just moving. But yeah, I really wanted another center. But if that's how they gonna do it, we're just gonna see how it plays out.
okay. That's one question that I was going to ask you. If we did need another center, you already answered that.
You said,
Uh, yeah, I was going to ask you if, in your opinion, do we need another center? Or we just going to play and see how it goes, like till
hmm
February, and then we see.
we just gonna play and see how it goes. We just gonna play and see how it goes.
Do you have any other center that was on your eyesight that you wanted?
Nah, not really. As long as the dude can rebound, can catch a lob, or just work around the rim and then set screens, I feel like that would have just been perfect. I didn't care who it was or nothing like that. Just do your job and do it right. Cause with the center position, it's really not that much that you have to do. Just do what you know how to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as you mentioned, now we have Edie, we had BC that plays a five too,
Yeah.
and also we got J Huff. Okay, we waived Trey Jemison. We have J Huff on a two-way.
hmm
Did you see J Huff play? Because I'm going to be honest with you, watch him play only on the summer league
hmm
by the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even before he was signed by the Grizzlies, I was quite impressed by him. And also, with all due respect to Trey Jemison, which I liked a lot and I wish the best for him, I think it is an upgrade. What's your opinion?
Trading, well, waving Trey Jemison from the two way. I feel like it was okay. Like he did his job, he did what he's supposed to do. But if somebody was to go down and we need another big, I really didn't want to see Trey Jemison on the floor. Honestly, that's just me. So I feel like J Huff was a good pickup. Can't lie. But yeah, I
Mm,
watched him. I watched him in Orlando. I watched him play for Orlando, and he did a really good job. I'm impressed by him. I really like him. So yeah.
yeah. Um, Also, still on summer league kind of issue. That's this ongoing thing with Scottie Pippen, because obviously, as you said, he can be, and I of course I see that like a true backup point guard.
Mhm.
Um, Still, he's on a two-way now, and we have a 14-man roster. So this means that we have an open spot. Do you feel like it's better to keep him on a two-way, like starting with the season, because he can play 50 games when on a two-way, and then like moving on, um, we'll see if we um, get him on a standard or whatever, or you think that we should just get on the standard right now?
I feel like we have enough guards on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Cause
because
I know that they want to play Marcus Smart as backup point guard after he played the three in the starting lineup. So that's probably how this gonna work out. If that's not working out, then yes, you sign him onto that deal. Like yes, you sign him onto that deal. But if it is, then I guess you just wait it out. But I really want him to be on the deal. So
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
I want him to be on the deal.
But like right now, or you just wait and see?
Just wait and see. Wait and see how the Marcus Smart point guard, backup point guard thing works out. And then if it doesn't work, then just go ahead, sign them papers, and get him on the court.
Okay, okay. That's fair. Also, still regarding the free agency, there was this thing because we have the team option on Luke Kennard,
Hmm.
which was 4.5 million, I believe, for the team option for another year. And okay, we declined the team option, but as you know, of course, as we all know, of course, um, there was ongoing conversation just a couple of days ago. The news came up. We got another year for 11 million, I believe. This was like a really good move, don't you think? Like from Clement, and also I don't know from uh, it means also a lot from Canard commitment to the team. I believe maybe,
I
but
feel
I
like
want to know your opinion, of course.
I feel like it was a good signing. Just see what he does for a year with the whole team, and see how he can affect what he can affect with the team. So yeah, I feel like it was a good signing. He one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. So yeah, and then he signed for less. It's just like $4 million less, but you still got money to move where you want to move, and then that's a tradable deal right there. So yeah,
Do you see like maybe Grizzlies are at least considering like moving him like in the trade deadline because it's an expiring contract and then it's like just an expiring contract and it's only 11 million till the end of the season. Do you see this like a possibility?
yeah, I see the possibility. Yes, they might move him. They might just go ahead and give him like the first half of the season just to see what he does. That's why they gave him like just 1 year, and then if they just don't like what they seeing or they like something better, then yeah, they'll trade. I feel like that's what they'll do.
Also, okay, regarding this on Luke's side of the question, okay, um, what would you make? What do you think that you make a player sign for 11 million when he had the team had an option for 14.5 million, and Kennard being percentage wise one of the best 3-pointer shooters in the league, that probably there'd be like a lot of teams interested in getting him. How
I
do
feel
you
like
see like Canard? Why did Canard take this decision in your point of view?
he most likely wanted to stay in Memphis. Cause ain't no way that you taking a $3 million cut if you ain't want to stay nowhere. He could have got like a more decent, a little bit more bag than what he got doing here. He has his family here. He just had his baby and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he just wanted his family to stay in Memphis or just stay somewhere for a little bit while longer. And then, yeah, I just feel like he wanted to stay here.
Oh, so it was like really cool from him. Okay, one player I also want to ask you, Santi. How do you Santi? This is like an ongoing question on my podcast. I have people like Santi a lot, people that don't really like Santi a lot.
Hmm.
I'm always like caught in the middle because sometimes I am pissed at Santi, sometimes I like Santi. So how do you see Santi?
I really like Santi. It's really just his defense that gets on my nerves, and his behind the back passes. His
Uh-huh.
behind the back passes be pissing me off sometimes because like they just be coming out of nowhere. But sometimes he be hitting the person that he's supposed to hit with the ball. So yeah, I really like Santi though. I do like him. It is really just his defense. That's really it. If he can like bulk up some more, get better on defense, then I feel like he's good. But if he doesn't improve this year, then he can hit the boot too.
So do you think this decisive year for Santi in the Grizzlies because he's becoming a free agent. He have a free agent, like I believe, like end of next season.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that want Sonny too. So he can go ahead and get that value up. If he
Mm-hmm.
plays well, then yeah, he'll get the contract. But if he doesn't, then hey, he gotta leave. But I really like him though. I really do.
I'm gonna tell you, I really like Santi too. My only issue with Santi because he's so big, he's 7 footer, okay,
Hmm.
and I sometimes I see he's not really. The only issue is not when he's not aggressive to the rim. That's the thing. That's also the defense, as you said. Of course, that's pretty obvious.
Hmm.
But yeah, also I would like to see him being more like aggressive going to the rim. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And also, do you feel like Santi? I don't know if you've been watching the Olympics. Have you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, then I have two more questions. One is, do you feel like Santi playing for Spain is like more happier than playing for the Grizzlies?
I feel
Because
like he
maybe he
plays.
has a major role.
I feel like he plays better. Yes. Cause
Okay.
you can see dude getting like 25 points, 11 rebounds, and by like 2 steals and a block. Yes, he plays way better. He plays way better for Spain than he does with the Grizzlies. He'll have like a couple of games like that, but you don't see consistency when he plays with the Grizz.
Do you think that that's something to do with his role? Because obviously his role in Spain national team is bigger than it is on Grizzlies.
Yeah, it most definitely got something to do with his role. Because it's just like he'll probably get like 15 minutes with the Grizz, and you got to produce in those 15 minutes when he's on the floor majority of the time with Spain. So he gets more time to get up more shots. So yeah, yeah, I feel like the role is lesser than what it is in Spain.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Also, okay, how you been watching Team USA? For now, it's only victories against Serbia, uh, Puerto Rico today, and South Sudan. And, what do you expect from Team USA on the Olympics?
I
Because
really
to be
don't.
honest, I think that anything less than the gold medal will be a failure, in my opinion. And I'm not American, so
Yeah. So I feel I haven't really been watching the games like that because every time I turn it on, we up by 20. So I really just don't be entertained no more with it. I'm like, if y'all don't win gold, something is wrong, or some other team just blew y'all at the water or Deuce did something. So I watch a couple minutes of it just to get the feel. Like today, I was watching the game and I went to go do something for like 2 minutes and then we up by 20. I'm like, dang, I can't even watch it no more. So so
Mhm.
yeah, I expect the most out of them. I'm really rooting for them. But yeah,
Do you expect maybe 4 years from now to expect to see Ja playing in Team USA?
yeah, I really do expect them to be playing for Team USA. It would have been good to see him this year, but all that with the injury and everything, that's what really just didn't get him there. But next 4 years, I do expect him to be on Team USA.
Okay. Any other player from the Grizzlies?
I would say Jaren, but
Uh,
with how it went last year, it wasn't really good. So yeah,
do you think like it was that part on the FIBA World Cup you
hmm
mentioned the FIBA World Cup was more like on Jaren's part, on Kurt's part, on or maybe halfway in between?
I feel like it was 50-50 because Jaren does not play center. He had to play center at on FIBA, so that was a kind of a bad situation for him to be in because he doesn't play center like at all. He
Mm-hmm.
always needed a big body, so part of that was on Kerr because he could have played. What was the other dude that was playing? He was on the bench though. He played for Utah. Kessler.
Uh,
That he could
okay.
play.
Yeah.
If he could have played Kessler and Jaren together, maybe that would have been better. But we don't know because we haven't seen it. So yeah, and Jaren just needs to be more aggressive. He got a big body for a reason. So if you get put in that position to play center, just go all out and play center. You gotta go out there and rebound. You know the jobs of a center, so you gotta do what the center gotta do.
Yeah. But again, um, it's more like a power forward, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We stuck in the beginning of the conversation.
Mhm.
Okay, so now going back to the Grizzlies, at this point we have a 14 man roster. Um, we're good to go like this and like expect for February to see which way we can like to convert in a that is in a two-way like Pippen, like, for instance, that you mentioned, which I think it's more obvious to convert on a standard, or maybe depending on how the season is going to go get maybe another player. Main question is the 14-man roster like this for now is good for you because that's also it creates with the cap space and also the roster space.
I feel like it's good. I feel like it's okay. We got one open roster spot, so you got options to where you can sign somebody else from a two-way, or if you wanted to trade, you could trade somebody, get two players back type. But yeah, I feel like it's good. We got options. We got an open spot.
Yeah, yeah, because that's my opinion. Because okay, you don't usually like you don't use 14 players, of course, yeah, in an NBA game.
Mhm.
Of course, there are back-to-backs, there are injuries, and we know that for sure from last season, of course. Um, but okay, but I think that's my opinion. Like 14-man roster, it's okay to go, and then along with the season how it goes, then it's an open spot that you can fill in, like with converting a two-way or in a standard, or especially given the situation we're talking about Canard,
Mhm.
maybe if we are on a good position and we think we need some other kind of player, we have that open spot, right? Am I
Yep.
tripping or am I right?
You right.
Okay, okay. So regarding next season, and like next season is a big thing for me
Mm-hmm.
personally because last season was like horrible and horrible, horrible. I mean, result wise, because okay, you always want to win, you always want to go to the playoffs, you always want to go as far as you can, and of course, as you said, like December, early January, we knew that it wouldn't work out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I have high hopes for next season.
And I do
Uh,
too.
okay, that's what I want to hear. What, how, what's your hopes for next season?
Um, Trying to be realistic because I can get delusional at times, and that ends up hurting me in the end. So I'll say we're gonna be a top five team,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, because the West is stacked. But I know that we got our top three is good. Jared, Ja, Bang, they're excellent. They're great. And then we got all our other pieces around us. So I feel like everything will fall into place and we'll be a top five team. Hopefully. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm just ready to see everything. I can't wait to see Ja play again. Cause it feels
yeah,
like it's been forever since he's played.
yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you mentioned like a top five team.
Yeah.
Which other like other four teams would you put on the top five on the West?
I say the Timberwolves, they gonna come back. I don't know. I'm not placing them in like one, two, three, four, or
Hmm.
five. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Just like the top five, not like in order. Like,
I say Timberwolves. Um, OKC.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I want to say Denver, but they lost a piece or two.
KCP,
I'll say Denver. Um, and then maybe let's see,
Mavericks.
Mavs. Most definitely Mavs.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mavs.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page here.
Mhm.
Okay. So also regarding last season and this season, how did you see? I forgot to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you now.
Mhm.
The roles and the way that players play the roles that they have to play, both from Des and from Jaren, because they have this last season they had to have to step up because Ja was out for, as you mentioned, 25 games and he played nine, so he was out for 73 games. How
Mhm.
do you see the development of both Des and Jaren, and going on into next season, of course?
I feel like for Dez, I'm gonna go with him first.
Hmm.
Dez, he done learned how to handle the ball a little bit more, get downhill a little bit better, and yeah, I feel like it'll be a big advantage for him and Ja playing together, cause you can play Ja off ball or you can play
Hmm.
him off ball, but I feel like it's better to play Dez off ball. So I feel like you can interchange how they play together, and then he can handle the ball more. So maybe if you put him in the second lineup or the backup, the bench lineup with second the bench folks, and then let
Hmm.
him run point guard for like a little bit, maybe that'll work. But I feel like he's very versatile in his game, and like this whole season just helped him get ready for that. And with Jaren, he doesn't have to play a whole new role, so he gets the feeling of how everything really works out on the floor from both positions, the four and the five. So I expect him to rebound just a little bit more, maybe 8. I know he averaged about like 5. I need them
Hmm.
to average like 8 at least. But yeah, and then he can handle the ball a little bit. He needs to work on his passing. His passing went, his assists went up this year. So yeah, I feel like this whole season to help them get better because they had to work without Ja and then help work with all the other people that we had on this roster this year.
Do you see an offensive leap on Jaren?
Yes, I see a major offensive leap for Jaren because the past season he averaged like 18 points. This season he averaged like 22. Maybe
Uh-huh.
I feel like he'll stay in that range of 22, 22, 23,
Uh-huh.
and Dez will probably average like 25, and then Ja 28. That's how like the little totem pole gonna go for this
Okay.
upcoming season.
Okay. So like it's this question is like um everyone has its own favorite. Which is your favorite Grizz player right now?
Ooh, I love
I'm
them
not gonna lie.
all.
Mine is I love them all too. Mine is Jab, but okay, but yours,
You said, well, who is yours?
Jab.
Ja. I'm gonna have to go with Ja. I got like five Ja jerseys. I can't lie.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just the way that he is, the way that he plays. He's explosive. He's exciting. So of course he's a lock. Did I lock? But coming in second probably be Gigi.
Gigi. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you what's the second player, the second
Hmm.
favorite. So it's Gigi. That's cool. Why?
Because his personality, basically, and then his game, the way he came in and just flipped the whole season for everybody. I found something to be happy about because Gigi was playing. Like, is
Uh
Gigi
huh.
playing? Is he coming off the bench? What is he finna do? Like, yeah, I found happiness in this whole season because of Gigi and Vince mainly.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's a very good point you made there. Okay, so two last questions. One, uh, Taylor Jenkins. Is
Mm.
he the coach to lead us to the championship, or is he not, or is halfway through?
I'm iffy on the situation. He's a good defensive coach, but
Mhm.
all the hires that he made for the offensive side of the floor lets me know that he really doesn't know what he's doing on the offensive side. But
Yeah,
I feel like this season, we'll see a flipper switch. Hopefully, a different method, a different way of winning. So.
because
Hopefully everything works out with him because I don't want nobody to lose their job. But like, if
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't,
of course, yeah.
if you ain't doing it right, then it's time to go. If we not winning, it's time to go.
But you see, like, because you mentioned the restructuring of the assistant coach staff,
Mhm.
and he got Thomas Lizalo, I think, from Paris FC.
Mhm.
Uh, had the best offensive rating in the world, better than the NBA. So it kind of leads me to think that okay, so he, because as you mentioned, he's a Taylor Jenkins. I mean, defensive oriented coach. So maybe I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe he sees like, okay, I need to improve our offensive game too. So I'm gonna get this guy that's really good on offense. Do you agree with this?
Mhm. Um. Yeah. I just hope that he can get it together because he makes some boneheaded mistakes or boneheaded plays or just boneheaded things he tells the players to do at times that just don't help us win, especially in playoff situations. It just doesn't seem like it doesn't all click at the same time, or like maybe one game we make a mistake and then he said he go back on film just to watch and see what happened when you're
Uh-huh.
right there to see what happened. So it could have just, it doesn't click on time, it always clicks off beat. So yeah, I just hope everything works out with him. I hope we do win or do something this year. So yeah.
Yeah. So, like, you mean like, if I understand you right, like you mean like for Jenkins, like you're saying like read the game like on time, not after time. That's what you mean.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Uh. Also regarding Jenkins, I notice, I think we all notice, there's a strong bond between the main players like Ja, Dez, Jaren. It's with Jenkins. I think it's been uh, um, quite clear. Do you think that is important, like in a locker room, in a team environment, that you are locked in with your coach? Is this?
Of course, it's important. Of course, because your coach is the one that's putting all these lineups together. The coach is the one that's calling the plays on the sideline. Sometimes, the coach is the one that's making you motivated, makes you want to play. So, if they didn't have a good relationship with Taylor Jenkins, he would have been gone. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that continuity, that togetherness that they got, I like it. I love it. But yeah, even just that doesn't discard you. Well, doesn't exempt you for getting your job taken away because you ain't doing the right things. Yeah, all of that is good, but we want to win.
Yeah.
So,
What's like the minimum for you in last season for the first? Like the
um,
acceptable minimum.
ooh,
Of course, I know it's a tricky question because I know there can be injuries. It depends on if we get to the playoffs, and of course, I believe we will do. Of course, it depends on also on matchups. A lot of things that can be involved. But what's like, I know that is a tricky question, but if you have
yeah.
to put like a minimum, what would you be your minimum for?
Minimum gotta be Western Conference Finals for me.
Okay,
But obviously, I want the championship. That's where I want to go to. But minimum Western Conference Finals.
okay, that's stamped for you. Okay,
Hmm.
I got a lot of people saying this too. The list I had was second round. Everybody else is talking about this Western Conference Finals and also finals.
Hmm.
And I believe like you were the second person like stamping like championship. Okay, so it's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so now my last question for you. I've been doing this podcast, and the idea of this podcast was to, like to come together Grizzlies fans all over the world. And so whenever I get a guest from any other country than USA, or even in USA if it's not from Memphis or Tennessee, I
Hmm.
always ask them what made them become a Grizzlies fan. You being from Memphis, and I got also a lot of people of Memphis here. The question is different. How is it to be a Grizzlies fan in Memphis for you?
Being a Memphis fan in Memphis is just so I love it. Like I rep my city so hard. Like anything Memphis, I'm a rep hard. Even like the Showboats, we got a team down here called the Showboats, the Redbirds. Like I'm all there for everything. So being a Memphis fan in Memphis is like great to me, especially having an athlete like Ja that
Mhm,
makes people put eyes on the city. Having a player like Jaren and Bang that show out every night, like all of that, it just makes me happy to have like a team where we can like compete again for real. Because the last team that we had was the Grit and Grind team with
mhm,
Tony Allen and Marc Gasol and Zebo and Mike
mhm.
Conley. Like all of that, I feel like so happy to be a Memphis Grizzlies fan. Because yeah, I really mess with my city.
Yeah. I never asked this anyone. Do you feel like Memphis being a diehard city?
Memphis is a diehard city.
Yeah, like
Honestly, no,
regarding.
because we got people that are Laker fans down here that are Boston fans. Like I feel like there's more. I wouldn't say more. It's probably like half and half. Half being Grizzlies fans, half being another team fans. But me, I'm a diehard. Like
Okay. Okay, I'm a diehard too, and I'm not from Memphis, so that's cool. Like Nakira, uh,
Mhm.
I have made you all my questions. You answered them all. I want to thank you for being here. It was a pleasure to have you here and an honor to have you here also.
Thank you
And
so much.
now it's just my pleasure for sure. It was my pleasure, and I hope that I'm going to do another series of podcasts when the season starts, and I hope you can come back in again.
Of
Okay,
course, anytime.
okay. So thank you so much. So everybody, it was episode 17 of Grizzly was Wild, and we had Naquirah from Memphis, Tennessee, with us. Okay, it's Hoops Talk. So shout out Grizzlies, and good night, everybody.